Legislation pushing Joe Biden to increase sanctions on Iranian crude oil is on track to become law as early as this week. But experts don't expect the president to fully use his new powers anytime soon. The measure was passed by the U.S. House of Representatives over the weekend as a response to Iran's attack on Israel earlier this month. On paper, they promised to broaden the scope of restrictions on Iran's exports of crude by extending coverage to foreign ports, vessels and refineries that knowingly engage in trade. But oil market experts say that Biden will be loath to make any moves that could increase the price of crude or the gasoline that U.S. motorists buy at the pump. The president is likely to take advantage of the waiver authority built into the sanctions and avoid stringent enforcement. According to policy experts, the situation to some extent mirrors that faced by the Biden administration with Russia and its invasion in Ukraine as well. Although the White House has imposed sanctions on Russia, it has tried to limit the country's revenues while allowing its oil exports to keep flowing so as to not to squeeze global supplies and stoke inflation, an important domestic consideration for the U.S. president in an election year. The White House also permitted Venezuelan oil to continue flowing last week, even as it renewed sanctions aimed at President Nicolas Maduro. The oil market is particularly sensitive right now due to the potential for further constraints. Brent crude prices exceeded $92 a barrel earlier in April, their highest in almost 6 months, amid strong global demands and ongoing production cuts by OPEC and its allies. If implemented and enforced, the new sanctions could add as much as $8.40 to global prices, according to one estimate. And that would be bad news for Biden, who has already tapped the nation's strategic petroleum reserve after the cost of domestic fuel spiked higher in 2022. The latest sanctions are a part of a foreign aid package slated for Senate passage later this week. They include provisions to eliminate China's use of sanctioned Iranian oil. About 80% of Iran's roughly 1.5 million barrels per day of exports go to China to be processed by small independent teapot refineries. Now, the legislation would expand the definition of a major financial transaction under existing U.S. sanctions to include transactions of any size made between Chinese and Iranian institutions to buy Iranian oil. Experts say Biden is unlikely to enforce these measures with gusto due to domestic, political and economic compulsions. But sanctions waivers may become harder for Biden to defend if Iran and its proxies engage in more direct aggression towards Israel in the coming times.
And the young man, I think, as I understand it, I was informed.